Hello, everyone, and welcome to another week of First Lego League practices and keeping our kids on track and on task. I just want to talk over a couple things as I always do. First of all, our new motors are ready and labeled and ready to be put on robots. What I did was very discreetly put our team numbers and the year on the motor so that we knew whose they were and what year we got them. And I also just marked on all the new motors just two little dots, which will be covered by the wheels anyway. This is pretty discreet. Should not have any problems with the judges as far as having modified our equipment that we sometimes have when we put stickers and things on it. None of those marks should show up at any point while we're driving our robot, so it should not be an issue. I put them on my robot, and I had to take a good chunk of the under part apart to get them on. So it was not an easy task, and I don't mind if the judges or if coaches, if you want to do this instead of the kids, that's absolutely fine with me to get the new motors in there. You don't have to do this. I don't know how much it's going to help. I've had a couple coaches tell me that their motors are starting to wear out and that they're not being very consistent. I don't know. It's something that's been asked for, and so I'm providing new motors. Right now I'm giving each team two. There are extra new motors in the cabinet. If you want to put them on your backup robot as well, that's absolutely fine with me. I have no problem with that. So if you want to grab those, they're in a cabinet in the back, in the bags. They've also been marked with the black on them, just so that we can keep track of which ones are the new ones and which ones are the old ones. Just make sure your kids are treating those motors with some kindness and respect. We don't want them, trying to do 1,000 rotations on them for the practice just for fun. I haven't seen any teams that are abusing them that way, and so I don't really have any problem with it, but I just wanted to kind of throw that out there. The other thing I wanted to bring your attention is I just counted how many practices I have left with my team. My guess is our virtual teams, my team, isn't going to have their competition till December 4th. So it's a little later than yours. I suspect your competition probably will be Stevensville, so November 20th. So I just kind of counted, and we have 11 practices between now and our competition, which means you guys have even less. And I just kind of wanted to, use that to kind of help my team focus today, to kind of say, hey, we've got to knuckle down, we've got to get some work done because we don't have that much time left. At this point, the kids kind of know everything they need to know. They know how to program the robots. They know what the problem is. They even should know what their solution is. And so, with a little bit of focus, hopefully you guys can, as a team, go ahead and get this done and get ourselves on track. So that was another thing that I kind of noticed as I was talking to my team today. I want to bring your attention to our First Inspires dashboard. There's a couple of things in here that I wanted to show you. The first one is I want to show you in ThinkScape our rubrics that we are going to be judged on. There are 3 rubrics. There's a robot rubric, a challenge design rubric, innovation project I think they call it, and core values. So I just clicked challenge resources, and when I do this menu on the left hand side, there's the judging and event resources. When you click on that, it brings you to the rubrics. It's in this little mini window, but I just hit this pop out button and it makes them full size, and I'll have some prints here for you, but this is important because this is how our teams will be scored. This is how our core values will be scored. They will give us a scale of 1 to 4 for each of these core values. They will give us a score of 1 to 4 for each of these categories in our design project, and the same for our robot design. It's important that the kids know what's on these rubrics. It's important that you know what's on these rubrics because ultimately this is how we are judged. So keep that in your mind and keep that. I'm going to have these out for the rest of the practices because I'm going to be referencing these as we are doing things, as we're making our presentation, as we're talking about our robot. I'm going to have these in front of us so we can use this vocabulary, so we can use these words, and so we can really kind of come back to the rubric and say, does this fit what we want to do? This is how we're judged. These 3 categories are weighted essentially evenly, meaning that our robot could be out of this world, but if our core values and our innovation project score very low, we do not score well as a team. The best teams score reasonably well in all three categories. So, there's a couple of, if you don't have an innovation project, you can't win any awards. If your robot does not score any points, you can't win any awards. So you have to have this balance of doing all of these things. So keep this in your mind as you go. I'll have printouts here in the classroom that you can reference and the kids can reference as you're going along. The requirements this year, I believe, are you got to have a 5-minute project presentation, or you have up to 5 minutes to give a project presentation. You, I think, need a presentation board. You do not need a core values board, I don't think, and I don't think you need a robot design executive summary. Those are two things that in the past we have needed that I don't think we need this year. I will be checking on those things. I just want to remind you, if you have any questions, please let me know. Please ask me. That's what I'm here for. I try to make it to almost every practice, or at least once a week, to connect with the teams and make sure that everything is going okay. If you're needing anything, if something's not going right, if you need some help explaining something, if you need some help exploring something, ask me about it. I am happy to help be a part of your team's meeting. I'm happy to give you some advice as a coach as to how to approach something. Please let me know. That's part of what I'm doing. That's part of what I like to do. So please help keep me in the loop on that. And as always, have a great week.